space. Because if you get thrown into the space and you don't have the foundational knowledge, which is key. You might have some knowledge about other things, but if you don't have foundational knowledge about the internet and how the digital ecosystem runs, and money and how the financial arm of the internet runs, you'll be found wanting, like you said, wrecked. You can try your hands at trading or other things, but if you don't have the foundational knowledge, you miss out. So we decided to put together this platform where anybody can just jump on, from a young kid to the grown adult can just jump on, pick up foundational knowledge, actually get practical skills in the app, and then they can also go out into the world and do what they want to do. So that's LearnWay. It's
Hmm.
basically a Web3 and a financial literacy education platform.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sovereign Frontier podcast. I'm your host, Piniyini. You can also call me Think the Kid. Joining me today is Kweku Amoakohene from LearnWay. Kweku, welcome to the Sovereign Frontier podcast.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yes, I am also quite happy to have you on the podcast. You are doing some really incredible stuff when it comes to crypto education. And that is what this episode is all about. We want to explore, dissect, and learn about LearnWay. But before we get started on LearnWay, could you share with us your background and how you got into the Web3 space?
Right. So a quick foray into my background. I'm a trained engineer. So when I came out of school, I was supposed to be a professional engineer, but I didn't go that way. I got more involved into sales and marketing, and also with the first commercial drone company in Ghana. So I saw where technology was headed and all the advancements that were being made, and how technology was influencing or impacting different industries. So that's piqued my interest, and um, luckily I was able to attend an event where I heard about blockchain technology, which from from there everything else is history. I just got obsessed with it and got some lessons how to build with the technology, and yeah, like I said, everything else is history.
I see. So how long have you been in the Web3 space?
Um, a year in June.
Hmm.
Yeah, by the end of June will
Okay.
be 1 year in the actively building in the space. But I've
Okay.
had knowledge of crypto and stuff like that for some years now.
And I think that's lovely because most people get into the Web3 space,
Right.
I think myself included, and then we start trading. Right?
Yeah,
Like
money
we
money is
get in and
necessary.
yeah, we want the quick money, and instead of building, we start trading. But I think this is also an indicative of how the space have changed in general, right? I think that we've had a lot of improvements over the past years, and it's amazing and exciting at the same time to see people get into the space and from day one they start building. And I think that also informs us how Web3 education in general has changed. When I got into the space, the predominant education information that I had access to was trading. Right, all
Yeah,
the groups I joined, they were like trading,
trading
trading,
groups.
trading,
Yes, same here.
and yes, and when you act on the information that you know or that's available to you, right? So um that kind of got me into the trading aspect where I ended up getting wrecked.
Another story for another episode.
Another story for another day, right? So
Yeah.
it's so amazing to hear that it's been 1 year and you've already built something amazing, and yeah, you are actively building. And so talk to us about LearnWay. What is LearnWay?
Yeah, so LearnWay is a mobile first gamified learning platform that myself, there's a team. I don't have to claim all the glory here. There's a team,
Mhm.
my co-founder Francis, and then there's Samuel, and then there's our CTO Godwin. So there's a team, and then we came together, both all of us having our own experiences in the Web3 crypto ecosystem, realized that coming together to build such a platform that would help new people, people who are completely new to the space, to have an entry point where they can have the foundational knowledge required to thrive in the space. Because if you get thrown into the space and you don't have the foundational knowledge, which is key, you might have some knowledge about other things, but if you don't have foundational knowledge about the internet and how the digital ecosystem runs, and money and how the financial arm of the internet runs, you'll be found wanting, like you said, wrecked. You can try your hands at trading or other things, but if you don't have the foundational knowledge, you miss out. So we decided to put together this platform where anybody can just jump on, from a young kid to the grown adult can just jump on, pick up foundational knowledge, actually get practical skills in the app, and then they can also go out into the world and do what they want to do. So that's LearnWay. It's
Mm.
basically a Web3 and a financial literacy education platform.
I see. Okay, so rumors on the street have it that you didn't start LearnWay or something else you were working on. You discovered that um there still needs to be education, there still needs to be platform that closes the education gap, and the product you were building, the audience or the potential users weren't there enough in terms of the literacy to use it, so you shelved it and then decided to build LearnWay.
Yeah,
How
I'm
true
wondering
is
where
that?
this rumor is from, but yeah,
I'm telling
there's
you,
definitely
we are in the crypto street after all.
yeah, there's definitely some truth to it. That's the fun fact of how my co-founder and I met actually. So we were part of
Okay.
a hackathon program, and then I found out that he was building a mobile-based saving platform, which is a Web3 based. It's a decentralized app which we call dApps, and I was also building a web-based savings platform. So we met, like, oh wow, interesting. You have a similar idea, I have a similar idea. But then when we put the product out there, we realized that when we're looking for users, most of them didn't understand what we're trying to get them to do, because they now had to go and get a wallet, save their seed phrase, know what a private key is. So it was like the onboarding journey for any new user was so complex that we lost them along. The churn rate was just too high. So we realized that it was like climbing up, climbing, pushing a rock uphill and not getting anywhere, because the weight of the rock was just too much to bear. So we realized that instead of pushing this rock uphill, why don't we go up to the top and roll our rock down? And how do you do that? You educate the people to bridge the gap, because we want the people to be here but they are somewhere else. So how do we get them here? Let's educate them. So that's why the idea of LearnWay came about. My co-founder was already building something, so I just connected with him and we took it to the next level from there.
Awesome. Do you think that this is perhaps one of the reasons why the adoption rate for crypto applications, right, such as DeFi, NFT, and other unique application of the blockchain technology, um, isn't that high in Ghana and other African countries compared to other places
Yeah.
in the world?
Yeah, I mean, it's not high anywhere. Globally, the adoption rate is less than 10% of the entire, world
Yeah, but
population.
like
So,
out of that cake, out of the 10% cake, Africa is, I think, unless
indeed, yes,
it's
yes,
you,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
stable
Comparatively,
coins.
Africa is way lower than other nations. But what I would
Yeah.
say is because
Mm,
the human resource of the other nations have been developed to a certain point. Our
mm,
human resource in Africa is hugely underdeveloped. So
mm,
for them to get into something that we view as transformational, they don't see it. And I
mm,
look at it this way: there are two people who there are two main veins here in the Web3 ecosystem. There are the people who come in because they heard there's a new financial instrument or a new financial means for them to make money. So that's primarily why they're here. And there are people who are also trying to transform how the internet operates. That's another set of people. So these two people have to there has to be an intersection where people who are trying to make money, people who are trying to change the internet can come together, and everybody can transform their lives. But you need a certain amount of knowledge. And the people who are trying to transform the world, they are so nerdy and complex. They are the ones who are coming up with the dev tooling and all these different things for the developers to use. And the end users, the people who are trying to make money, they don't realize that it will be better for them to learn how to change their mindset of operating in this ecosystem rather than just coming to take to, like an extractor, to just take the value out and not build with the technology. So we realize that Africa needs that mindset change. At the foundational level, our mindset needs to change about this is a transformational way to use the internet. It's not just about making money quick. It's about getting the right foundational knowledge to transform how things are done in your own industry or your own locality or your own community. Because, for example, we have found a way to reward our users, which is something that didn't used to exist before in traditional Web2 apps. But now Web3 allows us to incentivize our users. So that's a transformational way of even making education or learning rewarding. And that's how we look at things at LearnWay.
Mhm. Okay, so definitely agree with you on some of the points there. There's so much about crypto and Web3 that makes it interesting to the everyday person. And there are so many angles, right, to look at it. When you are talking about crypto adoption and the reasons why adoption rate in certain part of the world is different. One point that I strongly agree on has to do with the rate of technological penetration and progression in a specific geographic location. Crypto builds on top of the existing internet, and that's why they literally call it Web3. And so, yes, so there's a direct connection into how high or how low a specific country or geographic location adopts it to
Exactly.
how high or low they have adopted the existing internet and how
Perfect.
knowledgeable they are. Yeah,
Yes.
so I definitely
And,
agree with you there.
and that's why a country like Estonia, right? Their
Yeah.
adoption rate of blockchain is like close to over 70%. Because
Wow.
when the current internet system in Estonia is so well advanced that close to 100% of the state relies on their internet services. They are knowledgeable about how to operate using internet services. So when
Hmm.
you are transitioning them to blockchain, it's much easier for you to do that
Hmm.
because they have the foundational knowledge. But when you go
Yeah.
to a country like Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, it's only certain populations, usually the urban populations, where they have a certain level of internet adoption and understanding of how to utilize internet services. In those areas, if you go, you find out that yes, blockchain adoption is higher there. But when you move to the rural areas, it's close to non-existent. Like they don't even know what you're talking about because they are now moving from radio to mobile telecommunication. They are not even
Hmm.
on the internet yet. They are now moving from radio to mobile phones. So there's a huge disparity there, and that's what we are trying to close. That's why we are saying if you are in Ghana or any African country, you are English speaking, you can just jump on the app and then move yourself into that new world. If you have the foundation of the internet and internet services, even if you don't have it, we've put it in there for you so that you can start from the very beginning to develop that foundational knowledge and come to the point where you can operate or interact in the Web3 ecosystem.
Awesome. Yeah. The the other aspect that I wanted to touch briefly with regards to your point was also the rate of financial systems development, right? There's also that. And I think I it makes me happy that LearnWay is not just crypto. You see, you mentioned um, crypto and financial. You keep mentioning crypto and financial, which means that it goes beyond crypto in some ways. And for example, the past couple of months, I have taken a keen interest in the Ghana Stock Exchange. And yeah, and when you look at the Ghana Stock Exchange and you compare it to places like the New York Stock Exchange, you get to really understand why certain things are the way they are. You know, we have a long way to go with our capital markets. um,
Touching a lot of
and
tough points this morning.
yeah.
I like it. I like it. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I mean, like we have a long way to go. And you see, when I started getting very curious about the Ghana Stock Exchange, I would usually, when I'm talking to friends, and these are people that are highly educated, working lucrative jobs. I would ask them if they know anything, or they've been involved, or if they have been involved at all um, in the Ghana Stock Exchange. And I think this is almost like 100% rate. I haven't gotten anybody who has been keenly interested in investing their residual income in on the Ghana Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
And if you go to a place like the US or other European countries where investing in stocks is at the tap of a phone, it's not surprising, right? That and they've been doing this for decades and decades. It's not surprising that crypto over there, the financial aspect of crypto over there also is rapidly moving, And so I think that the education is crucial. Build platforms that address the educational gap. We can also figure out a way to tackle some of these other issues.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean it's key. It's key. What you mentioned about the stock exchange and it's all true. Even the access before you can find a brokerage firm to start putting your money in stocks or learning when they are IPOing to be able to get stocks at a good price, entry price. It's so hard. It's so difficult, and it's because of the way our educational system is shaped and formed as. So there's a lot of transformation that's required. But to be a disruptor, you can either change the system or you can build a new system that is better than what is existing. So we realize that trying to change the system is going to be, decades long progress project. So we decided to build outside the system and make changes to the system as it is now. So we've included financial literacy education in the app as well. We are teaching people to save, to budget, to invest. And if they're not able to invest in local markets, like you said, now with apps, with just a touch of a button, you can be investing in markets other than your own. So, yes, we've included that in there to be able to help along the transformational changes we want to see with the users that we have.
Awesome. I think that at this point, I would like to delve into the application itself. So LearnWay is available on iOS and Android. So if you go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, you should be able to download it.
Yep,
So
yep,
once you
we're live.
download it and once you download it and you sign up, you would be able to see the main page or your home page. Now, we the way we are going to do this is we are going to use a bottoms up approach where if you look at if you are in the app, you look it's divided, I think, mainly into, I would say, two sections, right? The developer knows best, but as a user, what I'm seeing is what I'm saying.
Right, right, right.
So two sections. Yeah, there is the play and win rewards, which is down here, play and win. And then the top there, you can see your rank, your gems, and other personal. It's more personal. The top section is more personal. And then the middle section is where they
Yes,
put
yes, that's true.
notifications, yeah, and very important messages to the users. So starting from the bottom section, you have the play and win rewards. Now, the first card or the first part is the learn and earn. So could you walk us briefly
talk about it.
Um,
Okay, right.
yes.
So with the section you just talked about, the play and win rewards, that's our core value engine. That's where users learn, they play, and they earn as well. So if you go to the learn and earn section, you can see that we've broken down complex topics into simplified bite-sized like content lessons. And then when you learn, when you take that, so for example, you can go, the first thing is introduction to the internet, and you have different topics about the internet that gets you up to speed. So if you don't know anything at all about what the internet is, how to use it and stuff like that, we bring you up to speed here. And there's the history and evolution of money. You can take, there are several topics down there to bring you up to speed. Maybe you don't know that money was used, barter trade was used before money was introduced, like paper notes and all these different things. We teach you what it is about, at least to give you the foundational knowledge to understand what is going on with cryptocurrency and the others. And when you take the lesson, you are able to take a quiz that test your knowledge, what you've learned so far, and then you are rewarded for each lesson. So you can think of it as Web3 meets Duolingo. So you take a
Mm.
lesson, get rewarded. So that's the learn and end section.
My favorite, my favorite aspect of the learn and earn section, of course, has to do with some of the courses and the way that the courses are structured. They are structured in a very logical sense in terms of um, getting you to understand Web3 in a very, very important way. There are currently 5 courses on the Learn and Earn. You have, like you mentioned, Introduction to the Internet, History and the Evolution of Money, Basic Financial Literacy, Learn Web3 the Smart Way, Blockchain Platforms. Blockchain Web3 is built on the existing internet, but it's a way to program value. And one of the ways you program value is through money. And if you want to really understand this, then you need to have digital literacy. So introduction to internet comes in. The whole thing about Web3 or crypto started with blockchain, which the main objective was to have a digital P2P cash,
Yes, electronic
right?
peer-to-peer transfer system.
Cash.
Yes,
Yes. That's for the blockchain itself. That's the Bitcoin blockchain, which is the electronic system. But
yes,
on top of that electronic transfer system was Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin the money. So, this when you read about the history and evolution of money, so you would appreciate what Bitcoin is. You would appreciate what cryptocurrencies are, because you get to understand that they are the new form of money, basically.
yeah,
Then you have, of course, you have the basic financial literacy, and then you can learn Web3 in general, right?
yes,
One of the courses that I would say that you shouldn't skip, no matter what, is the history of money. Hmm.
yeah. History
You
and
shouldn't,
evolution
you
of
shouldn't,
money.
yes, the history and evolution of money. You shouldn't skip that course. And in fact, the course should be like a gateway to read more about, or to research more about, the history and evolution of money. You see, in Ghana recently, our Ghana cedis has been appreciating strongly against the US dollar. And against the dollar, yeah. In fact, it's currently the best performing currency
Yeah, in
against
the
the
world.
US dollar. Yes, in the world. And I see a lot of people drop comments. A lot are surprised. Um, to an extent that when you look at the collective conversation, it's surprising, because people have always held the belief that the Ghana cedis cannot perform like this, right? But if you've studied the history of money and the evolution of money, and maybe you've come across the gold standard, right?
Yep.
When money was backed by gold, I don't think you would be surprised about what is happening. But most importantly, you would actually ask yourself why some of the strongest currencies in the world are not in Africa. Based on a simple question. And the simple question is that why is it that the continent with the most natural resources, such as gold, which is one of the hardest, in fact, it was the hardest form of money before Bitcoin, arguably. It was the hardest, and it's still the hardest, one of the hardest form of money. Maybe it's an argument now, Bitcoin or gold, which is the hardest form of money. But a continent that basically has this natural resource in abundance, and to have the currencies on the continent be among the weakest. You see, it's very ironic because there's an age-old strategy that has always worked with currency. If you want to give value to your currency, and that is, if you back your currency with hard money such as gold, you are almost guaranteed to have a strong currency.
Right.
So if you've learned about the history of money and you understand that natural resources such as gold can give strong value to government issued currencies, then you wouldn't be surprised that the Ghana cedis is performing well. In fact, you should expect the Ghana cedis to perform much, 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 much better.
I think you are overestimating how knowledgeable Ghanaians are about monetary policies and some of these things because the ordinary Ghanaian citizen is not too bothered about these things. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Yes.
So you are touching on very key things, but all I'll say not to not so as to not get too political is that poverty is by design. Poverty that
Yeah.
exists anywhere in this world is by design,
Mm-hmm.
and there's an
Yes.
awakening happening. There's a shift in consciousness. There's a shift in mindset that's happening. It started, since 2020, got even bigger 2024. This year we are seeing, different ramifications of it. So eventually it will take place. People will get, to the understanding that once they back their currency by the natural resources and stuff like that, it will do well against other foreign currencies, and we will eventually get to the point where we are actually receiving the true value for what we are worth. But till then,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that we have to educate ourselves. We have to educate ourselves,
Yeah.
each other, each community educating the other, and we have to collaborate more. Is That's the only thing that will get us to that point of unity and say, okay, we are building Africa for Africans. So we'll get there eventually, but currently, like I said, there's a huge disparity. If you look at the world gap is widening day by day. Just the last 8 years in Ghana specifically, we're told over 800 people were sent below the poverty line. So there's a lot happening that we need to change, but we don't have to get to the point where we are under so much bad governance or economic mismanagement that we cannot even believe that our own currency can appreciate against a foreign currency. So we shouldn't ever get there again. So let's not be too political, but there's a change coming. It's not happening as rapidly as we would like to see, but there will be some catalysts along the way, and this is one of them. Web3 is one of them. The platform we are building is one of them. The space this podcast people are listening to is one of them, and there will be catalysts to the transformation that we want to see in our continent. So it's all good.
I don't think it's political to talk about money. In fact, it is essential, right, to talk about your money. And I
Right.
think that, you see, one of the things that has been, I don't know, socially engineered for people to not talk about things that affect their lives, essentially, is that term political, right? Because a lot of us are not really political. But there are certain things that you have to talk about, especially when it affects you directly. And money is the basic unit of life,
We are
right?
all political.
Everything,
Even if we
everything.
don't participate in political activities, we are all political because we are all affected by political things. So I won't say we
No,
are
you
not
see,
political.
there is
I just don't
governance.
want the conversation to be around political things or political parties and their systems and what's not. But when it comes to good governance, we all have a clear say as to what should be done in yeah for us. So I agree. We need to talk about our money. It's very, very important.
Yeah, I mean, we are not doing politics or anything, but we are talking about money.
Yeah.
And to an extent where you talk about Bitcoin, you talk about crypto, you are literally talking about money.
Yes.
And fiat currencies are part of it, right?
Yes.
And where you live and your fiat currency is very important. That you have to figure out a way to link it to the space, which is Web3. If you look at the US, in fact, it's so interesting. If you've been following the recent Bitcoin conference,
Yeah.
majority of the conversations have been denominated in stable coins. Almost everybody, when they come to stage, one way or the other, they they talk about stable coins. And when they talk about stable coins, they talk about the US dollar, right? They talk about the US dollar.
And you know
And
that's very
this is
deliberate.
that's what I'm saying. Nobody is nobody is saying political or anything because they live in a country where the fiat currency affects their lives. And I made a point that money is the basic unit of life because you capture your hard-earned work, your sweat and blood in money, right? Whatever you are building, whatever work you are doing, at the end of the day, the only way you show up for it, the only way you exchange value for other value is through money, that mechanism, right? And so money is something that is so basic to life that it transcends politics. It transcends all of these things. And so it's not political to talk about the money itself. And insofar as you are making observations, you are talking about strengthening the money. I struggle to see politics with it. But also the point that I wanted to make with saying that there is a socially engineered narrative where people don't really want to talk about things that affect them in real life because they would be feared of the word politics. And we need to understand that that is also by design. You understand? Where people are not able to be bold enough to say things that affect them because they are afraid to be tagged as politics. And things that are not politics, people target as politics. But that shouldn't prevent people from really talking about things that affect their lives.
I
So
agree.
there is that. Anyway, let's proceed. Let's continue with a conversation. This would be a conversation for another
For
day.
another
But
time.
yeah, so let's move on to the second section, or yeah, the second part of the play and win rewards, which is the quiz challenge. By the way, if you got lost a little bit, we are dissecting the LearnWay application. And we talked about the learn and end section. We are now talking about the quiz challenge. So walk us through what the quiz challenge is all about.
Okay, great. So with the quiz challenge section, some users might already have some knowledge about these things that we are talking about, these concepts that we are teaching or giving people knowledge on. So they can come here to test their skill level. So for example, if you come to the quiz challenge, we have general Web3, we have topics on general Web3, is basic Web3, blockchain, consensus mechanism, and cryptocurrency. If you go to blockchain, we have different challenges there you can try your hands on. If you come to cryptocurrency, the same. So here, basically, we want you to test how well you know what you think you know. Because you might think you know something, but when you are tested on it, you might be found wanting. So this allows our users already existing knowledge to refresh their memories and to even find out or test their knowledge skill level, and then be able to know where they can go and resume their learning from. So that's the quiz challenge, and all these sections are rewarded. So any quiz you take, you get rewarded for it. So that's the quiz challenge section.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So you have the next one, which is the 1v1
Yeah.
battle.
Yeah. So the one
Talk to
v one,
me.
which is actually my personal favorite, that you can hear me
Yeah.
laughing, but that's my
Yeah.
personal favorite because I like to challenge people. I'm very competitive. So when I meet someone and we are talking and they seem to be smarter than me or more knowledgeable than me, I challenge them to a battle on the app. So how it works is if you click on the one-on-one battle session, you can either find an opponent online, someone who is online at the same time as you, and then you can battle it out on you can select one of the five different sections and then have questions on that and battle it out. Or you
Okay.
can create a room for just a specific person, send them the code to the room you create, and then you can battle it out with the specific person you've shared your code with. So those are the two options. It's a very fun way to challenge someone, and you get rewarded for it. You stake. So let's say you are being a loud mouth. I'll say, okay, stake 1,000 gems, because since you think you know everything, I also stake 1,000 gems, and then the winner takes all. So if you believe that you know as much as you do, then put your gems where your mouth is, and then play the one-on-one battle. So that's how it goes.
Awesome. 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 Yes. Put your gems where your mouth is, or put your money where your knowledge is.
Yeah,
Let's see.
exactly.
All right. So the last time I played with Kweku, by the way, it was a draw.
It comes to
But
claim winner.
no, I just said it was a draw, bro.
Okay, good, good. It was a draw.
It was a draw, and I can't wait for the next match. So we'll see
Okay, yeah.
about that.
I'm up for the challenge, so whenever you're ready.
Yes. So from 1v1 to group battle. Talk to us
Yes.
about the group battle.
Yeah, so the group battle, if you're a gamer like
Yeah.
me and you like features like, we have the crew, you can form a squad similar to Call of Duty. You can form a squad and battle other squads. So you can do that with the group battle feature. You can create a room and then share the code to 3 or 4 of your friends. They can join your room, and then you can go and battle another crew. So also similar to the 1v1, just is for a crew version. We like this one because usually during our community events and activations, you usually don't find single friends, usually a group of friends. So when we do it, it really fosters collaboration between these friends, and it boosts the amount of time and engagement they have on the app. So it's a really really fun feature. If you have a squad and you are also as competitive as single friends, then you can try out this feature. It's really great.
The last two features of the play and win reward section makes the app very fun from your
Yes.
explanation so far. And
Yes.
so I think that it's always great to have a built-in fun feature into
Right.
an education platform, because
Right.
all learn and no play makes
Jack a
Kweku
door boy.
makes Kweku a dull boy. So it's great to have these fun features. Now let's go to the upper section.
Right.
So the upper section has the rank, the gems, and the XP. So quickly, we could walk us through these three things.
Right. So the rank, the gems, and the XP are your progress trackers. So I know you've already heard about, to our listeners, Web3 rewards active participation. So the more you participate, the more rewards you get. So your rank basically shows where you are on the leaderboard, and the gems show how much rewards you've gained for the quizzes and the lessons you've completed. So the more gems you have, it means the more quizzes you are taking, the more lessons you're also taking, or the more battles you are engaged in. It just shows that. Then XP is what we call experience points. For anything you do in the app, for any lesson, any quiz, anything you do, you also get XPs, and that's how we rank you on our leaderboard. So if you check the navigation bar at the bottom, if you click the leaders, you can see our leaderboard where we have the all-time leader and the monthly leaders. What we do is reward our top 3 leaders for the on the app every month. So it's also an incentive to perform well and do and come up. So there are people who have been just how do you call it, shuffling between the 3 of them, because they've been always battling for the top spot. So yeah, it's a fun
Yeah.
way to keep the people engaged on the app. So that's for
Okay.
the rank, gems, and XP at the top there.
Okay. Now, before we get to, so right beneath the rank, gems, and XP, you have the wallet, the history, the referral, and the contest. In fact, let's talk about the context real quick. The
Okay,
contest.
good.
So
Yes.
yes, what is it about?
So the contest is an amazing feature where we really, really enjoy. We like, if you click on the contest, it allows us to create competitions or
Mhm.
contests for our users. So, for example, if you go to the contest, we even have an upcoming contest you can see. If you go to the upcoming tab, you see that
Yeah,
there's a
bringing
contest there.
Web3
Exactly.
to
So
the
we
grassroots.
partner with different outfits or different institutions, different communities, and when they educate their members. When they teach them something, we create a contest to ascertain the retention level. Because sometimes you go to an event, you don't listen to anything, you just want the item 13 or the rewards that they are promising at the end of the day. So this is a way for us to check and make sure that all events or all institutions or all communities actually, their users are actually benefiting from what they are being given. And this is a way for us to do this. Also, it's a way for us to reward our users, because through this we are able to reward the top performing contest people. So if you take part of the contest, we just had one 2 days ago, and the winner got $25 USDT. The second one got $20. The next person got 15. So we use it as a tool to, or as a means to reward those who are actively participating in all our events and contests that we run on the app.
Awesome. That's great. Now let's come to the wallet section. Now we are talking Web3, or we are getting into
Yes,
Web3
now we are
on
talking
the
Web3. So
on the
you know
app.
that
Yeah.
Web3, before you do anything, you require a wallet. You need a wallet to be able to interact with the blockchain. So we developed this feature to give our users a practical sense of what the wallet is like and how a wallet operates. But we took away all the complexities. So we didn't put in a seed phrase and all those things. We are handling that for them on the back end to simplify the experience for them. So here they can see their rewards in real time. Over here, you can see your gems and you can see your LearnWay tokens. These tokens are test tokens just to allow users to understand what a token is, how to transfer a token, how to receive it, and how to swap. So it currently has no monetary value, but we are hoping in the future, when we have more users and they give value to the app, the tokens will also have some value. But now we use the gems to interact in the app for all things. So here the users can either send, swap, or receive tokens into their wallet. They can also find out and see what the wallet address is, see what network that the token is on. Basically, just to give them a real practical sense of what interacting with the blockchain is like. So that's what the wallet feature here is for.
So I need to back up real quick and ask you
Right.
this question. Web3 security is very important, and
Exactly.
we know that the ecosystem or the space is rife with hacking every day and people's money getting stolen rapidly. So
Yes.
when you say that you handle the seed phrase is very important. It's like the key to my wallet,
Right.
right? So if you say you handle the seed phrase for the users, what do you mean by that? Are you saying you have access to the people's wallets, or
No, that's
how
a
is it
great question.
implemented here?
That's a great question. So
Yes.
we'll tell you about it. So there's a technology called multi-computational, multi-computational,
Multi-party
multi-party
compute, like account
computational.
abstraction. We are talking account abstraction, right?
Exactly, exactly. So our account
Okay.
abstraction allows us to abstract those parts of the wallet. We don't have direct
Mm-hmm.
access to their secret phrase, their seed phrase, or their key phrase, or any of those things. No. The technology
Mm-hmm.
we use is encrypts all that information and stores it in a secure server. So we have no access to any of these things. However, it allows us to abstract the complexity of the app feature so that our users can use it without feeling secure, knowing that they don't lose anything or they don't lose access to anything with their wallet here.
So let's say that I I lose my phone, right?
Right.
How do I restore the wallet? Like how do I restore it?
Thank you very much. Another great question. So, because we know some of our users are completely new to Web3, we allow for them to restore or log in with their social logins, the already existing Gmail, your already existing Hotmail, all the emails, or even your mobile phone. So, you are allowed to reset your account using your email or your mobile phone. You don't necessarily need to connect the Web3 wallet to be able to access the platform. So that's how you don't lose access to your account. Whenever you lose
Mhm.
your phone, you just reset it with your email or your phone number and you are back.
Awesome. All
Yes.
right. And so I think that does it for the for the application walkthrough. The rest are quite straightforward. There's a referral stuff
Yeah.
where you can refer people and earn. There we have the history where you can see a history of all of your activities on the platform. Um, so that brings us to a the end of the application walkthrough. But one thing that I want to, like, the last question before we end this section is there we have LWT tokens.
Right.
And so I'm assuming that there is an upcoming token. So the question is, when tokens, sir?
And the answer is stay tuned in.
Okay, all right.
Keep
So
supporting the project, keep pushing, keep promoting, and eventually you get that information.
okay, all right, sounds good.
Yeah.
And so that was a very detailed breakdown of the LearnWay application. Hopefully, um, you got a lot of information as to how to use the application and the various sections on the app. Now, we are about to wrap up, but before we go, Kweku, what do you see LearnWay becoming in the next, say, decade?
Right. So in the next decade, we see Web3 becoming the either official or unofficial on ramp to Web3 learning for all Africans, if not the diaspora, for all Africans. Because if in the near future, aside us having our content in English, we want to provide multi-language, multilingual support for African languages, the most popular ones. So eventually, in the next 10 years, we want to be the go-to Web3 learning platform for all Africans. That will be our dream achievement at that point. Anyone else in the diaspora, that's a blessing for us. But our key focus is that all Africans, anyone who wants to get into Web3 learning, will start with our platform.
Awesome. So the next question is that Web3 is chaotic. What
Right.
hobbies and activities do you do outside Web3 that helps you keep your sanity?
Okay. Touching. Okay, so I don't touch grass. I like to touch water. So, I love
That's a
swimming.
new
I
one.
love yeah. I love
Okay.
water sports. So
Okay.
swimming, going to the beach, swimming in the lake, any of the lakes we have, poolside. I'm a water person. Or going on a hike. I like being outdoors, climbing a mountain or hiking to a waterfalls. That's like perfect outdoor experience for me. So that's how I keep grounded and not, lean into the distraction and the chaos.
I see. So we have Kweku, the Web3 Aquaman. That's nice. That's nice. All right.
Yeah.
So the last question is, do you have anything else you would like to add? Perhaps a question I should have asked you that I didn't. Anything before we go? Any last words?
Last words. So I'm super excited. I don't even lie to you. Sometimes I cannot hide my excitement because it feels like it's too much. I'm over the top with it. But I'm super excited as to what the future holds for us as Ghanaians, as Africans, and as the world as a whole. There's a shift. You might be feeling it. I don't know if you feel it, but it's happening, and it will be happening in incremental phases. The transformation that needs to take place for Africa to take its place, rightful place in society or in the global running of things is there. The time is now. We need to wake up to the fact that we are the ones who decide what our future is supposed to be. We don't have to leave it into the hands of other people. And a lot of people are waking up to that fact and taking up, building their courage to be able to take up such, positions or roles. So I believe that that's going to push us forward. And I'm super bullish on community. Let me add this. If I don't say anything at all, please find your community. It's very important. Don't live in isolation. It's better to have, even the good book says, it, two heads are better than one. So find your community, find a support system, whatever you are trying to do, find people that believe in it and bond together and put whatever you are thinking into fruition. Bring it into existence. Don't try and do all things on your own. No man is an island. So find your community, believe in yourself, believe in the solution you are providing, and obviously a community will form around it, and you'll get to where you want to get.
Awesome. That was a powerful one. And I can definitely attest to the fact that community in Web3 is incredibly important. And so, yes, do find your community. And whilst you are finding your community, don't forget to always also do your own research, because none of what we share here is a financial advice or a solicitation to invest in any crypto assets. The only way you protect yourself in crypto is if you do your own research. We bring you these conversations for educational purposes only. And so make sure that you always stay safe out there. Until next time, peace out.